All right, in our last segment, we finished up with McCracken's model. And so now we're going to look at where does culture come from? Where does it originate? McCracken's model describes this feedback loop, but where does it start? Hey, the process by which people learn about their own culture is called inculturation. Inculturation. We are enculturated by what is called our cultural agents. In other words, teachers of culture. Marketers are not our only cultural agents. There are many teachers of culture in society, such as family, educators, religious leaders, mass media like TV and the internet, even politicians. Of these that I just listed, which do you think is the strongest, especially when we are young? Family, yes, parents especially, and mass media, television especially. Acculturations. Know the difference between inculturation and acculturation. Acculturation is the process by which people learn about another culture. So according to the United Nations, about 200 million people live outside their home country, and many more than that travel internationally. Many immigrants and international travelers experience what is called culture shock. So the definition of that is, well, it's an extreme form of acculturation. The many surprises and difficulties when you're faced with communication problems and many other cultural differences. So when I travel to China, at least the parts of China I go to, most of the people do not speak English, and I do not speak Chinese. So imagine when I go there for business, right? Imagine when I have a small request for a service or information, and I'm at a hotel, and how difficult this can be and how time consuming this can be. It's not like I can go down and just pick up the phone and call the front desk, right? Because we cannot communicate. Okay, so first off, I have to go down, all the way down in the elevator and wait in line at the front desk. And then I need to use my Chinese translation app. And I'll tell you, a lot is still lost in translation. If you've used a translation app extensively, you know this. Hey, so imagine if I just want, how much time it might take for me to just find out where the closest restaurant is, or for instance, just to communicate a request to have an extension cord brought to my room. Culture shock. Okay. Cultural brands are an interesting effect of globalization and immigration, something I especially really appreciate. Products and services that are available here from other cultural influences. Cultural brands such as ethnic food, music, international films, cultural art, etc. These things really enrich our life. Tempe, Arizona, for example, where ASU main campus is located, is a mecca for ethnic food when you look at the size of the population and the number of different ethnic restaurants available. And then, so it's a mecca for ethnic food combined with really great prices because this is a university town, student prices. Now, cultural brands may represent an entire category of products, such as Mexican tequila or Cuban cigars, right? Or it can represent individual products like Guinness beer from Ireland or BBC television and radio from Great Britain. As we discussed at the beginning of this lecture, to develop a successful marketing strategy, an organization simply must take into consideration cultural influences of the society where their new product is being introduced. So remember that definition of cultural shock. Many immigrants and international travelers experience culture shock, the many surprises and difficulty when you're faced with communication problems and many other cultural differences. Marketers can also experience a kind of cultural shock when they introduce their products in other countries without doing their research. And we're going to begin exploring that in our next segment.